Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing a video all about the series that I need to finish. So these are all series that I have started but haven't completed yet, and I'm really looking forward to doing so. This is continuing my series of series videos that I've posted so far on my channel. So first is the Winternight trilogy by Katherine Arden. I have already read the first book, The Bear and the Nightingale. I have started reading the second book, The Girl in the Tower. Haven't finished yet, but I will be completing this one soon. And then the last book that I need to read in the series is the third and final book, The Winter of the Witch. This is a series that is inspired by Russian folklore. It's a really slow burn kind of story, and I really enjoyed it. It's really magical, and it's also such a wintry tale that it really makes you want to like read this during the colder months. Next should come as no surprise, and that is the Witcher series by Andrzej Sapkowski. I've been trying to read one of these per month, so I am up to the third book, Baptism of Fire, which is actually the fifth book. Really enjoying these. I really like that they are like very old school fantasy and have like a kind of medieval feel to them. I think that they're really fun. I really love the characters. I will say that the books are a bit on the slower side. There's not like a ton that happens, but the characters are just so well written that it makes the whole series pretty enjoyable. So I still have to read Baptism of Fire, The Tower of Swallows, The Lady of the Lake, and Season of Storms, which is actually a prequel novel in the series. Next, I would like to finish reading the Falconer series by Elizabeth May. I read the first book, which is The Falconer, and I read about half of the second book, which is The Vanishing Throne, which I have here. So I actually want to just restart this one from the beginning and read the whole thing through. The reason that I didn't end up finishing it the first time around is because my library loan expired, so I just kind of didn't finish it, but I really want to because I really enjoy this series. It's kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but with fairies. It's really fun kind of urban fantasy, and it takes place in Scotland lots of years ago. And then I also have to read the third and final book, which is The Fallen Kingdom. Next, I have to read the last two books in the Nevernight Chronicle by Jay Kristoff. At the time of filming, I have not yet read Godsgrave, but I'm planning on reading it in September as part of my Owls. And then I also need to read Dark Dawn, which is the third and final book in the series, which comes out on September 3rd, so I should already have a copy of it by the time this video goes live. The next series I want to finish is the Thrawn trilogy by Timothy Zahn. I only have to read the third and final book in here, which is Thrawn Treason. I really enjoyed the first two, and I had been planning on reading this one like as soon as it came out, but I kind of got into a Star Wars book reading slump because I read two in a row that I wasn't super keen on, and I think that kind of turned me off, but I need to dive back into them because I really do want to read as many as I can before The Rise of Skywalker comes out, and I think that I'll read the majority of them, but I have to like just do it, and I really enjoyed both Thrawn installments, so this will be a good place to like get back into it. Next, I need to finish the Air Awakens series by Elise Kova. So I read the first book, which is Air Awakens, but I still have to read book 2, which is Fire Falling, book 3, Earth's End, book 4, Water's Wrath, and book 5, Crystal Crowned. And this series is really fun. It follows a girl who is kind of quiet and she's a librarian, but then it turns out that maybe she's not a librarian, maybe she's got some secret powers going on, and there's this like whole war going on in the world, and there are people that have elemental magic, and I really enjoyed the first installment, so I really need to continue on. And if I like it, I also kind of want to jump into Elise Kova's other series, the Alchemist of Loom series. Definitely want to get to that at some point. Next is the Gentleman Bastard series by Scott Lynch. This actually is one of the only ones on this list that is not a completed series, but I just want to catch up. So I have read the first book, which is The Lies of Locke Lamora, and I loved it, but I do want to reread it, and then I am ready to dive into Red Seas Under Red Skies, which is the second book, and then finally read The Republic of Thieves, which is the third book, before the fourth one comes out. Next on my list is the Expanse series by James S. A. Corey. This is a super long sci-fi space opera series, and I read the first book, Leviathan Wakes, and I really loved it. I gave that one 5 stars, and I've been meaning to continue. There are so many books to catch up on, so there's actually going to be a total of 9 books in the series, and the 9th one is, I believe, planned for publication in January of 2020. So by the time I catch up, that one will be published and it will be a completed series. I need to read book 2, Caliban's War, book 3, Abaddon's Gate, book 4, Cibola Burn, or Chabola Burn. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. Book 5, Nemesis Game. Book 6, Babylon's Ashes. Book 7, Persepolis Rising. And Book 8, which I don't currently have in paperback yet because the paperback version will be coming out in January of 2020. So that's when I'll get my copy of that one. But each of these are quite thick. They're all over 500 pages, so it's gonna take me quite a while to get through these. So the next one is the Daevabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty. I read the first book, which is The City of Brass, and I need to read the second book, which is The Kingdom of Copper. And I've already pre-ordered the third book, which I believe is coming out in February of 2020. Next on my list is Finale by Stephanie Garber. This is the last book in the Caraval series. I read the first two books, loved both of them, and all I have to do is read this last book and then I will have another series under my belt, and yet I just keep putting it off. I also want to finish the Last Magician series, so I read the first book, which is The Last Magician, and I still have to read the second book, which is The Devil's Thief, both by Lisa Maxwell. The third book is scheduled to come out in 2020, so I want to read this one and be caught up for when that third and final book comes out. This takes place in the I want to say it's like 1910s kind of Manhattan, and it's really interesting because it's a time period that I don't really see explored very often in young adult fiction. It's just such a fun series with magic going on, and the first book there was like this heist kind of storyline, so I'm curious how the second one's gonna go and how it's gonna end in the third one. Next is the Diviner series by Libba Bray. I still have to read the third book, which is Before the Devil Breaks You. I'm planning on reading this when the girls who are doing the Diviners read along get up to this book. I didn't want to reread the first two. I didn't feel like I needed to because I really remember those books very clearly, so I don't think that I need to like brush up at all, and I'm ready to just dive into the third one whenever they're ready to do their read along for it, which I want to say is in October. Next is the Penderwick series by Jean Birdsall. So I read books 1, 2, and 3, but I still have to read books 4 and 5, which are The Penderwicks in Spring and The Penderwicks at Last. This series follows 4 sisters. It kind of has like Little Women vibes, but it's so cute. It's a middle grade series, and each of the sisters has a very distinctive personality, and I really enjoy just the kind of hijinks that they get into. It's such like a pure and innocent series, and it's so much fun, and I truly enjoyed it. It also kind of reminds me of like Anne of Green Gables. I just really loved it. I would also like to finish reading the Adventurers Guild series by Nick Eliopoulos and Zach Lauren Clark. I read the first book twice actually, which is The Adventurers Guild. Really enjoyed it. And I'm planning on reading Twilight of the Elves as part of my Owls. So again, this could be one that's completed by the time this video comes out. Not quite sure. We'll see what happens. And then the third and final book actually comes out in December, and I'm going to pick it up and read it straight away. And then lastly, and this is a big one, I would really like to finish reading the Keepers of the Lost Cities series by Shannon Messenger. I'm not certain how many books are going to be in the series, but there's already quite a bit to catch up on. I read the first book, Keeper of the Lost Cities, in the last week of August, and I'm planning on reading some more of them in the coming months, but I have quite a ways to go. So I still have to read book 2, which is Exile, book 3, Everblaze, book 4, Never Seen, book 5, Lodestar, book 6, Nightfall, book 7, Flashback, and then book 8, and I already have that one on pre-order. And that is it. Those are all the series that I have already started and that I really want to complete or either get caught up on before the next book comes out. Let me know if you've read any of the ones that I've mentioned. This is one of the last videos in my series of series videos. The major ending is going to be my all-time favorite series, and I'm so looking forward to filming and posting that one and sharing it with you guys. So I hope that you enjoyed these. Let me know if you have any other requests for videos that you might want to see from me. I thought this was kind of a fun series, and I really looked forward to filming a new installment every time that I would go to film. That's all that I have for this video, and I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!